Yes, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Ghost Dog Podcast. Now, this week, it's changed just before filming. So, we were supposed to have the lovely girls from Lost Souls Paracon, but some personal things have come up, and they are back in 2 weeks' time. So, hope everything goes well with the personal circumstances, and we will hopefully see them in a couple of weeks. I think they're 18th. So, yeah. So tonight, I thought I would come and chat to you guys. Now, I use a lot of equipment. And I see lots and lots of debunking videos all over YouTube, Facebook, etc. From Beardo, Side-Eye Guy, Kenny Biddle, Mythos, talking about equipment and what they think of the equipment that we use. Now, I personally use the equipment, and so for me, I'm like, ooh. But yes, so tonight I thought we'd just have a little chat about the equipment, and is it right? Are they right? So welcome to come and share your thoughts. Come and say hello. Let me know what you think about this topic. Now, I am just sharing the link, so please bear with me. So yeah, come along, say hello, and we'll have a lovely chat. There's going to be no name calling. There's no you're right, you're wrong, etc. Because everything in the paranormal is all about opinions. So that is what the aim for tonight is. So hopefully you will join in. So let me know who is here. We've got some people here already, and it would be great if you guys would just let me know who you are. And that'd be cool. We could say hello. And yeah. So, equipment, people. What do you think about paranormal equipment? Do you think it works? Do you think it's just gadgets that light up? What do you reckon? Let me know. So yes. So we've got people in here, but they're not, I don't know who you are. Come and say hello. Boom. So obviously the equipment we are talking about mainly. We have Ali and Sadie from Hauntex TV. They are sitting on the sofa with his laptop and editor open. So yeah, Ali is editing his current video that will be out very, very soon. Go check out Hauntex TV and see the great work that himself and Sadie get up to. Great investigators. They also use some bit of equipment sometimes. So yeah, Ali, what are your thoughts on equipment? Do you think it's a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it a gimmick? Are they just flashy lights? Let me know. What do you reckon? Me personally, I think some equipment is definitely flawed. Some works, some doesn't. Some could be coincidence. But the equipment that I like to use, is it 100% I'm talking with a spirit and they're interacting? Who knows? Everything within the paranormal is one big experiment, no matter what we all do. Exactly. Whether it's Ouija boards, whether it's music boxes, REM pods, spirit boxes, mediums that are connecting, however they connect. That is, it's all one big, no one's an expert. Nothing has ever been proven. So, is there an afterlife? Are we just fooling ourselves and we're talking to air? We go out to these locations, we're not sleeping, we're spending money on petrol, and we're paying lots of money to these locations. And really, there is just nothing there. Imagine that. Imagine how awful that would be after all these years when you finally pass over and there's nothing. It's just blackness, you know. So a good old EVP session with a voice recorder is what we enjoy. Yeah, that's Ali. I've been there before when he's done that, and he does actually hold his breath. It's like because you do obviously make like noises in your throat and your breathing, your mouth, etc. And sometimes they are picked up depending on how good your voice recorder is. So yeah. So we have Ruben Jones. Hello. So happy you're live. My takeaway is here any minute, and I've been struggling to find something to watch. Thank you so much, Ruben. Welcome along. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. We have Shell in the building. Hello. Hope you're enjoying yourself today and this evening. Hopefully you're going to join us. Let's have a little chat, you know, give and take, etc. What do you think? Hey to everyone in the chat. So, what is the equipment that you guys at home use? Do you investigate? Do you just watch the TV shows? Have you been on some public events with paranormal teams and they've used equipment and you weren't too sure if it's real, if it works? Is it a gimmick? You see all the flashy lights. That's what people talk about, the flashy lights and the noise. That is, you know, a few years ago when Ghost Adventures was massive. Mr. Rules, all for the gadgets but not keen on spirit boxes. Fair play. Why do you not like spirit boxes? Is it because it's just radio bleed? Let me know. We have used EchoVox in the past and had only a few decent responses. I tried EchoVox when it first came out back in early 2012, 13. It's Danny Bigbeard, wasn't it, who made that EchoVox? Too much noise, yeah. I struggled to work out how to work it. Now, I didn't spend a lot of time, and I think at that time it was about 15 quid. Okay, yeah, Spirit Box, too noisy. I can understand that. When I'm editing videos and I've used my own Spirit Box, it is like, you know, the white noise pounding through it. It is quite loud, and you have to really, really open up your ears just to try and figure out where the noise is coming from. What words are there? Are they just a coincidence? Are you listening for specific words that you've asked for? Like, say, there's a ghost and you're looking for John. He's a famous spirit that haunts that location. And all you're doing is, who's there? And you're always listening for John. Now, whether it sounds like John, who knows? But that is what people listen out for. Glass work is interesting to try. You mean like divination on a table? Like you spin the glass for yes, etc. Or you move the glass for yes. I did that quite early on in my paranormal journey. I quite enjoyed that, to be fair. I had some good results in that. So just a wooden table with a glass upside down, fingers on it, a bit like a planchette really, and just move it. It's difficult to listen through the white noise. It takes time and a good ear. Yes, it does take an awful long time to try and figure out. You have to really tune yourself in, and a lot of people, if they don't use it a lot, they can't do that. Yeah, the glass divination. Yeah, to be fair, I quite like that. That is, for me, I would rather do that than a Ouija board, personally. But obviously you ask a question, if it moves, that's a yes. But it's mainly yes, no questions on that, I think. But yeah, as I was going back, when the gadgets were really popular was when Ghost Adventures come out, because most Haunted didn't use gadgets really. Zach come along and he had all these gadgets, and Bill Chappell that was making them, and Gary Galka who was making them. And everybody just had to have a spirit box. They all had to have a REM pod. They all had to have a mel meter. And it is just all the flashy lights. And obviously, as the years progressed on Ghost Adventures, Bill Chappell made so many other things, like on Ovulus, things like that, really. And I think some of them work, some of them don't work. I mean, we still have a K2 meter, doesn't do much though. Well, apparently with the K2 meter, it only works on one axis, yeah? So to work on all three axes, which apparently is what you need. So if you're holding your K2 in your hand, you would obviously have it how you have it, like in that level. That's one axis. Then you'd have to turn it upside down. Then you have to turn it on its side, and you'd have to do that all the way just to get one particular reading, a correct reading, because it's just having it in one position does not give you a true reading. Yeah. What is your preferred gadget, and what have you had the best results with? Now, I would say my favourite bit of equipment is the Alice box. Now, this is made from infrared, and I've used this for many years now, and absolutely amazing bit of equipment. Now, what it does, it works on environmental factors apparently, and there's no microphone, so it's not an app. Well, there is an app version, but it's an actual unit, like a box. And what it is, you will get words coming through, so it will beep and then it will say the word. Now, over the years, I've had an absolutely amazing amount of coincidence, we'll call it, with what I've been talking about, what I've seen, what I've held, and it would come through on the little display. Now, for me, that it still does it to this very day, and it absolutely blows my mind. Absolutely, it is the best bit of equipment that I've ever used. The original old school ghost hunter will go out into a building to investigate with no equipment, maybe just camera, torch, and their senses, raw investigation. Yes, that's how I started. An old cemetery, a night vision camera, which was DVD. Back in the day, the DVD Sonys, they were a pain in the ass, I tell you, especially when they didn't record properly. And yeah, you would just have your voice recorder. Sometimes you would have pen and paper. I remember being in one location very early on, like 2009, something like that, and you could get these automatic writing. It looks like a planchette really, with a hole in the middle, where a pen went into it, and it was on wheels. So you would put it on a bit of paper, and you'd try and contact spirits. You close your eyes, etc., and you just hold the planchette, and then hopefully you would move it with subconsciously. Are you doing that, or is the spirit moving it for you using your body, your hand, etc.? And after like 5-10 minutes, however long the session was, you're obviously asking questions, or somebody else would ask the questions, and you'd be moving the hand as the spirit would move it, and then you'd have a picture or writing or whatever. And I used to do quite a lot of that really early on as well, along with Ouija board, because Ouija boards, you always start with Ouija boards, don't you? Yes, the mini DVD recorders, Ali. Yes, they were fun. But back in them days, that's all you could buy, really. You'd have the old the SSD or SDD recorders that would have an internal hard drive, but they weren't very big, so it was quite difficult to record. Or you'd have the high 8 ones, the big ones with the cassettes. They were a nightmare to put on YouTube. Automatic writing is interesting when done properly. Learned this within the development circle I attended back in the day in 2008. Okay, so what I described, is that any different, Ali, to what you were taught when it comes to automatic writing? I know the device you mean with a huge piece of paper. Yeah, A3 or just a table. Yeah. But going back to Mr. Rawls' question, I will give you an example of a spirit box I used to use. There was an old abandoned pub near me, and I used to go there to test out new equipment because it was quite active. and it was abandoned, and you could always get in. And I had the original PSP7 spirit box with the blue background, like the blue backlight, and I was asking for maybe 5 minutes. I had my fingers like this. I was asking out loud, if there's any spirits here, tell me how many fingers I'm holding up. And we'll get nothing through. It's just white noise coming through, blah, blah, blah. And I was doing this, blah, 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 you know. And I was about to give up. I said, come on, look, just let me know, how many fingers am I holding up? And then suddenly a woman come through and said, answer 3. Now, for me, I used to have the spirit box on the fastest sweep in reverse. Not that reverse makes the words come out backwards. It's just which direction the sweep goes. And for me, that was amazing because it would be on each station for about a quarter of a second. So for me to get answer, you know, it shouldn't, in theory, it shouldn't be able to be done. But, you know, for me, that was awesome. So we have spotted ghosts in the building. Evening. Hope you're well. This gentleman is behind the Spirit Talker app, which is a great bit of kit. Portal to the Paranormal. Hello, Nando and Sarah, if that is you. So yeah, the answer 3 on the Spirit Box. I mean, I've had many more over the years. Actually, in the same location, we were asking, I can't remember the actual question at the time, and we're talking about, I don't know who's here, etc. And it said, we know Zach. And I'm like, obviously back in the day you think, oh, Zach Bagans, you know, like he's watching Ghost. The ghost is watching Ghost Adventures. Yeah, it was fun times back then. I actually sent that to Zach, and he did like it after a while. So from Ali again, it's all about getting yourself into the alpha state, dreamlike state. Okay, is this for automatic writing? And then starting off with pen, circling on paper until you are relaxed enough to allow to be directed potentially by energies. Okay, notice he put energies and not spirits there. I like that. Hello, Spotted Ghosts. We have had a few decent responses from Spirit Talker. Yes, obviously it's an app, and lots of people talk about apps. Now, when you speak to the person behind the app, like this gentleman, Spotted Ghost, when he tells you how much code goes into designing it, and that the normal Samsung iPhone is so much more advanced than an Ovilus, all the sensors in your phone can be accessed. It's amazing. You start to think, maybe then. But I've had some great answers on that device. What's the best EVP you ever caught? I listened to an old Art Bell episode the other night about EVPs. It's very interesting. Over the years, I've not really had that many EVPs, to be fair. I think I captured one while during the daytime when I was on TV back in 2016. We were like just chilling in this one of the locations that we were in, Pluckley, Elverley Farm, and all of us that were on the show, we were just like doing, I think we were doing a Ouija board, we were asking out or something in this building, and we heard a woman's voice shout yes or hey or something like that. I've got the footage somewhere, and I actually had a voice recorder on the staircase at the time, and it did capture it. But the best one I've ever caught was underground in Northampton in this tunnel system, and I was there with my son, my daughter and my nephew. Now we were obviously just going throughout the night, asking questions, trying to communicate any way we could really. And I had a voice recorder going, and I was just asking who's there. Something came through about a fire, so I think I was asking about a fire, and are you happy we're here, etc. And it come through, hang yourself. Now I'm thinking, what? Did one of my kids say this? So then I checked back on the actual video footage, And you can see me asking the question, voice recorder in my hand, and I was asking the question, but there was no response. My children didn't speak, my nephew didn't speak at all. So I'm so glad I actually had that video of that particular part of the investigation, because then I can say, look, there's no one talking, it's not overlaid, I'll give it to anybody to check it. How has this happened? So for me, that was the best one I've ever caught. Yes, it's probably the only one I've really caught, to be fair, apart from the odd, female cry or something like that. I hate odd context TV. We had a decent response to what I was picking up on Spirit Talker during a Clop Hill episode. Clop Hill, love Clop Hill. Yes, exactly. Now for me, I've been doing this since 2008. So 17 years, around and about 17 years. To only capture one real EVP, for me, that makes it more special, more credible, because I've only captured one. And I must have done hundreds, if not thousands of EVP sessions, trying to communicate, trying to capture the words from the other side, etc. So for me, I was really happy and proud of that one. Mr. Kev Kerr is in the building. Hello, sir. Mr. Skeptic Believer. I love Kev. Right, so the best one you've ever caught is on our Bordsey Hall episode, Spine Chilling Evidence of the Afterlife, it's called. Direct spirit voice imprint onto our camera saying we are sleeping. I actually do remember that. That came through very clearly. I think you played it a few times, yeah, on the video itself. It's awesome. Very, very good. It's amazing how you can catch voices from the other side. How spooky is that? Well, it's all about frequencies a lot of the time. People say that spirits, if spirits do actually exist, that they speak on a different frequency level, and sometimes our own hearing cannot pick that up. So we use electronic recorders, voice recorders, tape deck can work, the old tape cassette recorder, that can work, video cameras, anything that records sound. It's said that it can record, it can reach that level of frequency to actually capture it, and that's what an EVP is. So whether that's true, whether spirits do talk like that. I've also heard that spirits talk very, very fast as well, but I've not seen anybody prove that at all. So, but the frequency thing I can sort of believe. Otherwise, if everybody that's died, in theory, if we all come back, at least half of them come back as spirit, for a start, there's going to be hardly any room, and it's going to be so noisy because you're going to be hearing all these spirits. You're going to go to the shop, you're going to be at work, you're going to be asleep. These spirits are going to be everywhere. Is that true? I don't know. If it's there, it's there, and if it's not, it's not. What's that do? Is that to capturing an EVP? Or the spirit actually being there with you? But yeah, I'd say over the last year, I was very much, before I started this podcast, I was very much, I love all my gadgets. I love the gizmos, the flashy lights and all that, the detectors. But after watching people like Kev, Mythos, Beardo, debunking quite a few bits of equipment that I've used, and it makes you think maybe, especially things like REM pods, where taxis can actually set off a REM pod. Obviously walkie-talkies can also set them off. Now a lot of people use them on investigations, so for me, you just have to think sometimes outside the box. But you should also go with your own experiences as well. I think it's very important for you to try and figure out how equipment works. What happens when it goes wrong? How do you make it go wrong? And also, how do you set it off? Because if you know all that and you're still getting things, you've ruled out like taxis, walkie-talkies, CB radios from a lorry going past, things like that, then, you know, you need to try and get rid of every single aspect that could possibly be affecting this device before you actually come to a conclusion, or this could be a spirit interacting with me. Oh yeah, if it's there, yeah. Spirit communication, paranormal activity, the paranormal in general. Sorry, Ali, I do apologise, mate. Yeah, if it's there, it's there, and it will communicate if it wants to. Now, I'd like to think that spirits are there and they do want to communicate with us, because I think it'll be very, very, well, it won't be eye-opening if there's nothing there, because when you die, you don't know, do you? Because you're gone. But for me, I really would like to think that there is something there, and we do come back. And how, in what form, I don't know, personally. But yeah, there are bits of equipment that I do like to use. Like, I think when I spoke to Phil Wyman on this show, he said that the equipment, because they're very much back to basics on Are You Haunted, but they do use equipment, but the equipment they use equipment that is designed to do what it does. Like a voice recorder is to capture voices, a thermal camera is to look for heat, like increases, cold spots, etc. So they're actually using it for what it's designed for. Now, a REM pod, that's been man-made. We don't know if, just say there's a spirit, yeah? And if a spirit walks up to a REM pod, goes near the antenna, it breaks the beam that is given off, radiating around the antenna. How do we know that the spirit can actually go near it and affect that? We don't know what a spirit is. We don't know the ins and outs of what makes up a spirit. A lot of people say it's EMF. Is it EMF? Electromagnetic field. I mean, I don't know that. We just assume because of what we've seen on TV. We had fluctuations when a potential spirit has been in contact. So, but we don't know what the baseline for a spirit is. And until we do, I think it's difficult sometimes to actually use certain bits of equipment. Now, I'm not against equipment, don't get me wrong. I love equipment and I will still use certain bits of equipment. So everyone has their own take, and that's what makes it interesting, yet intriguing subject. It is. Getting to hear everyone's theories and experiences. Yeah. I loved Phil when he was the most haunted, proper old school. Chris says there's no such thing. Is that no such thing as ghosts? Come on, Chris, come and tell us. It's good to have different opinions. I like that. Yeah, Phil was very much pen and paper man on Most Haunted, wasn't he? Doing baseline readings in the location with his K2 and his... well, it probably wasn't a K2, to be fair. It was just an EMF meter of some sort that he would check for any high readings in certain rooms. So that was... I think that's good. But ghost hunters, taps, they used to do that as well. They would go to a location. They would put cameras in every single room that they could. They would put voice recorders everywhere they could. And just capture it, and that'd be it. Yeah, no frills. Yeah. Everything is energy, and energy is everything. If energy cannot be created nor destroyed, and if we are that energy, we must evolve and move into a non-physical form with a non-physical world. Yeah, you see, that's the thing. If you can't create energy, how are you born? Because when you're born, your soul, as it were, is the energy. I can understand that would definitely back up the theory of reincarnation, because when you're born, you're somebody else coming into another body, so another form. When the physical body breaks down, what's that? When energy is created? Because I do think that I personally don't believe in reincarnation. I just want to be one Miki. That's it. When I pass over, I'm going off visiting the world and scaring my friends and family and people I didn't like when I was alive. When the physical body breaks down, then we move to a non-physical form. Yeah, so that would be the afterlife, right? Because obviously you can't destroy energy. So, it's definitely a topic. Oh, so technically there's no such thing as a death. Well, in theory, no, because if you do pass on as energy and your energy has some sort of memory, as a spirit, I suppose, then it's all good. But yeah, I wouldn't want to be reincarnated. Definitely not. I always thought that was more about religion, to be fair. Heaven and hell and all that. So, but who knows? I'm not into religion really. Especially not on the spiritual side anyway, so I'm not the best person to speak about that, to be fair. So I wouldn't. So yeah, getting back to equipment. Other equipment I like to use is a motion censored music box. Now, there have been some sort of some music boxes, I think music boxes anyway, that have been debunked over the years. But now obviously because it's a motion sensor on the end, can other outside factors set off the sensor? I don't think shadows would. Movement away from it wouldn't. Be interesting to try out a mirror. If you put a mirror somewhere that your reflection could be seen on, like in front of the music box sensor, would that set it off? Not that there's normally a mirror at these sort of haunted locations that we go to anyway. So they're normally like abandoned old places. So I always say we are spiritual beings on a human journey, then we go back home to the non-physical world. I'd like to think of it like that. That's quite a nice analogy, Ali. I like that. Yeah. But, yeah, equipment-wise, a lot of people don't like equipment. A lot of equipment has been debunked, but I also think that some of it is beneficial. If you, like I said before, if you know how it works and why it works, that's the key. Don't just buy it because you saw it on telly and then get it and go out and use it because you think everything is a ghost, which it's not. 99% of things can be debunked, can have a natural cause, a natural reason why equipment has gone off. So also, why is it that people never capture spirits on video camera? Like in the past, I've seen shadow figures and I've had my camera facing exactly where I saw it. Never picked it up on camera. Do you think that the human eye is more equipped to actually see the spirit world than technology like a video camera? Hi Helen, Hey, this is so true. Sorry, I ramble on. Which bit is true? I do apologise. But yeah, video cameras. I've not seen any spirit ever captured over the years. Not myself, anyway. Voices captured on voice recorders, bangs, screams, etc. I think it's easy to capture audio. Oh yeah, the video cameras. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I say, I know lots of people in this field that go out and film their investigations, YouTube, even some people on TV that I know. I've never seen a spirit actually captured on camera. But then so many people all over the world say they see spirits. They're there, then they vanish. They saw their grandma, then they're gone. But Kev would have a very good answer for that if Kev's still in the building. Ali says, I created an experiment years ago, the spirit vortex, using a copper portal within water as a conductor with red lights and strobe lighting and a dry ice smoke machine. So what was the smoke machine for? To see obviously the lights and the strobe effect so that the spirits can like show themselves in the smoke, because we've done that before with the vortex. With West London Paranormal, I've done that many times. They've captured a few very, very interesting faces, I suppose. Is it pareidolia? Who knows? What about the Ring doorbells? Yes, people capture spirits on Ring doorbells as well. I've seen them quite often. They're animals as well. You see like a dog in the front garden, and then they vanish as they're walking off, and it's like, where'd that go? Now, it could be a problem with the camera. Maybe it can only reach a certain way, but who knows? It's very, very interesting. Paralytics activities. Yes, boys, welcome along. These guys are awesome. Go follow them. They were one of my guests just before Christmas. So, yeah. I remember you picking up what looked like very much like a ghost camera at Clophill back in your UK Haunted days. It was very creepy. Oh, yeah. That white mist that went across the wall at Clophill. Yeah. Now, I can't remember if it was foggy then. But that's very, very much a good one, that. I actually forgot about that. But like I'm saying, you see a full apparition maybe with your own eyes. And all you see on your camera, like that one at Clophill, was just a little white wisp of something that seemed to be walking. I mean, I don't know, but it is interesting how video cameras are not really capturing much. I mean, over the years, I've probably seen 15, 20 spirits. I'm not a medium, but I am very open to seeing things over the years. The more investigations I do, the more nights I go out looking for spirits, trying to make communication, the more I've been allowed, maybe, I don't know how it all works. Are you allowed to progress in your knowledge and how you see things? I don't know. But for me, I've seen that. But I've never, apart from the Clophill one, possibly, never really captured anything. Yes, so using the vortex with the smoke, dry ice, etc. Trying to see a manifestation, yeah, to see if it will appear. Yeah. So the Para Boys had a great laugh. We did have a great laugh. That's an awesome episode. I think that is episode 18. 18, I think. 19. 18 or 19. Go subscribe to this channel and go find them boys, because they are awesome. I mean, I did poo myself at Clophill that time. Yes, you did, when because Clophill has been painted. Those people that don't know what Clophill is, it's an old devil church, as they call it, It used to be full of graffiti, lots of satanic stuff. They used to dig up bodies and use the bones for rituals, and have altars for animal sacrifice, things like that. It's very, very bad reputation. Always people there, daytime, nighttime. And then they cleaned it up. They painted all the graffiti, got rid of all that. They put gravel in, they repaired everything. They put these eco lodges there that you can stay for, like ramblers that go out walking in the sticks and all that. And yeah, but now there's sensors inside, so if you go inside, I mean the church is like abandoned, it's all like a ruin, but if you go inside it, these sensors come sound off, and that's what Ali's on about. He was there, but he didn't set them off. In his video he was nowhere near it, and it sounds like it is a siren. Scared him to death. With that experiment they Miki, we caught nothing. Nothing. But it was good to recreate something different than during our ghost hunt event day, to give guests something interesting. Okay, yeah, that is good. That gets people involved. It's definitely something that I've personally never seen, apart from working with Mark and Rich. We've done that a few times on events and for our own filming, like in Ireland, in Hellfire Club, etc. Crispins, I think I did it at Crispins as well. So yes, always good to try out new things. Now, is a vortex machine equipment? It doesn't have it does have the flashy light, because it has the laser beam that goes on the mirror that flashes and creates the vortex, and then you have to add smoke to it to possibly show a face or a figure or a hand or anything like that. SK, how are you, sir? Good evening. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining. If you've only just joined, we've had a great chat so far. About another 20 minutes and I think we'll finish, but we've had a great interaction so far, and it's been awesome. So Ali, what's the best bit of equipment you've used? And also the paralytic boys as well, what equipment have you used that you like over the years? Let me know. When's the Janet video coming out, Miki? Oh, very, very, very soon at some point, hopefully. I'm aiming for this month in February. Now, for those of you that don't know, Janet the doll, there she is. She's in her tank. Very haunted doll. Makes everybody feel sick. Chest pains, people that have worked with her, etc. Now, is that a haunted doll in there? Don't know. But I believe she is, and I've had her since 2016, maybe, I think. But anyway, I recently did a video, and I asked quite a lot of the people in this chat and also in the paranormal field to send me questions. Now, these questions were to Janet, and the idea was that I would send these questions to somebody, which I did. I sent them to Mark Williams, and he chopped them all up. There was 5 questions from each person, and he put them in random order, or an order that I won't know anyway. And the idea was that he would play them through a voice note or a few audio file, and I would be doing the Estes method with Janet at a particular location. Now, we filmed this Friday just gone, and I have personally not seen the footage. Now, I don't know what questions are coming through. I don't know what order they're in. So for me, I couldn't say, right, I know Kev's question. Kev sent me a question. Well, I know one of Kev's questions. I can guess which one that's going to be, and I will pretend that I hear that through the spirit box in my ear, and I will say that. So it sounds like Janet is talking to me directly. So no, that did not happen. I haven't seen the footage yet. It's on my laptop, but I've not gone through it. I've got other videos that I'm still finishing off at the moment that will be done before that. So yeah, that was good. I spoke to Kev about that, Kev Kerr, and he did help me in trying to take away some of the things that could be said. Oh, you knew already that. That's why that answer came through. So he tried to help me and try and make it a bit more, fairer, so that I wouldn't know what was going on, and it worked. I believe it worked from what I was told. So Ali's favourite bit of equipment is himself. That's cheating. What was the creepiest thing you ever saw with your own eyes? One that made your blood run cold. I was at Crispin's mental asylum, and I'd been there about, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours. It was about midnight. It wasn't late. Just packing up, ready to film the outro. Now we were still in one of the buildings, and I was the person on camera doing the outro. And from behind the person I was with, an old face went like this at me. And he had a very gaunt face, scraggly hair. In my eyes, he was a patient from Crispin's, the asylum. From what I can understand, from what I saw, he was only there, went and then gone straight ahead. And I'm like, whoa. So it's, that is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Evidence-wise, also at Crispin's, I was with West London Paranormal, and Mark from that team, he had a piece of, I say plasterboard, it's about this big. He was on the top of a staircase, and this plasterboard went into his face after we were asking something to be thrown at him. Now, everything leading up to that, there was very credible people there, and everybody could see each other, basically. There was 3 cameras on, and luckily one camera was on his face, and we captured that. So yeah, that was an amazing bit of evidence, I believe. Bit late, mate, but here now. Cool, cheers. We have a small portable TV from the 70s we use for white noise. We called it Carol Ann, after Poltergeist. That's awesome. I actually saw a video the other day of some, I think it was Mythos. He was in a location and he was filming, and on the bed, and he had a small little TV, and yeah, it just had the white noise on. I think some of those old gadgets are brilliant. They're just designed for what they're designed for. You don't have to pretend, they're for spirits, etc. Mr. Williams, here he is, Mr. Mark, the man who helped me with the Janet experiment. Big shout out to Mark for all the help he gave me on that. We've got 5 new locations to check out, given to us from my explorer friend. Hoping to check them out soon, Miki. So we'll let you know what they're like to collab again for another episode. Yes, please. Let me know. Battery operated TV as well. That's good. Good old Caroline. I love it. See, them things are they're so simple. It's all right. I don't sniff cocaine. I've just got an itchy nose because of my beard. I'm quite conscious that I keep touching my nose, but I'm honestly, there's no powder. I remember watching it. I had a feeling you were going to say the face at Crispin's. Yeah, the angle that plasterboard came at, the people that were below could not have thrown it, and the force it came from couldn't have come from a crumbling wall either. So I have no idea. It gives me chills just thinking about it, like a real life jump scare. Mark was so angry as well because he thought someone had thrown it. But then again, why would you throw it? Because you'd have been seen on a camera, so it's pointless. Plus, you're there with people that you trust, and you just ruin the night otherwise. Hello, mate. Hello. Hello, Mark. It was my pleasure to help you out. Well, you did, so thank you so much. Laughing. Is Crispin still there? The admin building. Yes, the admin building is still there, and the clock tower. Both still in existence, I believe. I haven't been there for a couple of months, but the last time I drove past, I just went to have a look. Janet was not close to me, so all good. Mark hates haunted dolls or any dolls in question, So for him to help me on this project, I think was very, fair play, Mark. But he did take a photo. near Janet. But what made me laugh is he put one of those little microphones on, but he wouldn't put her on Janet. I had to do it. You know, the little portable ones, like the wireless mics. That's funny. You do it. I'm not putting it on Janet. I hear Rawsby Asylum is still accessible. Is that the one in Lincoln? Because I know a few people that have been there, to be fair. And I would like to go there. I actually was thinking about going there. To right, yeah. He ain't touching that. No way. Oh, sorry, Mickey. I was on about the old face that you saw coming towards you. Yeah, still at Crispin's though. That was awesome. That was. Yeah, awesome from a point of view like, oh my god, I've just seen something. I had a feeling you were going to say that one. Freaked me out watching it, even though I never saw it. I can still see it today, and that's the thing. This was like, I don't know, 2014, 15 maybe. That was where they filmed the Lucifer's Effect. Yes, that one. Well, if you're going, let me know. We have a road trip. Asylums, there's not many left that you can get into. I mean, you used to have Leicester Towers, didn't you? The tower in Leicester, whatever it was called. They closed that. You used to be able to investigate there, and then they closed it. You've got Newsham Park in Liverpool, which is technically an orphanage, but they call it the asylum. You've got Denbigh Asylum, which is falling apart. You've got Poole Park Asylum as well in Wales. You've got Talgarth, I believe, in Wales. And obviously Crispin's is virtually gone now. There's only 2 buildings left. And then the one, Rawsby Asylum in Lincolnshire. I mean, there's probably more, but you don't really hear about them. On the way to Sleaford. Yeah, that's not too far from me, to be fair. Never been to one. You've never been to an asylum? Oh, wow. It's definitely an experience. Yeah, the Towers. Sadie got into the mortuary at the Towers years ago. Is that when they did events there? You know, I think, going back to equipment, if you've got a large location where you can set up trigger objects on camera, like a REM pod maybe, something of interest for the building, put a camera on it, put a microphone on it. Now, I don't see anything bad about using a REM pod for that. Obviously, it all depends on the location of where you are. Like I said, are you going to have any outside taxis, CB radios, walkie-talkies, setting it off? Now, I've released a video recently of the Old Nick Theatre, and actually Mark Williams was with me on that night, and there was a section when we were in like the seated theatre area, and the REM pod kept going off in the dressing room behind. Now, I went into there, and instead of some REM pods, they go off and they stay on, you know, like wah, all the time. But this one, it seems like it was like beep, beep, like this. And after a while, it wasn't elongated. It wasn't 2 or 3 seconds. It was always like one beep and off, and then another time. So I actually put in my video that this could be from a 2-way radio, a taxi outside, because I do think it's important to try and debunk your evidence when you're using equipment. But like I said, it all comes down to how does it work? Why does it work? What happened when it goes wrong? So for me, I think it's important to be transparent with people when you're filming, I think. Especially if you're putting it out there on YouTube and some people are just pretending they know it's something else causing it, and they're just saying, oh yeah, that's paranormal. It's not, because too many people know now. There's too many debunkers that are opening other people's eyes to possibilities of why your equipment's doing that. But there is that assignment we done in West Sussex, Miki. Decent place that was. Where's that? I don't remember that one. Is that the one where you got told to get out, or some people took my mate to an abandoned haunted hospital. They told him to stare into this mirror there, and he watched his reflection. All their reflections become really old suddenly. Yeah, mirror scrying. I've done that before. Yeah, that's very, very interesting. I quite like that. Under the right conditions, that can work very well. I was at a haunted antiques museum in Hinckley, and I was doing it in their big portal mirror in the attic, and I was just staring into it, and my face changed. At the time, I didn't have glasses on, and my beard sort of disappeared, and it was very skinny, and my face was like really long. So on a break, we told Neil and Ames what I'd seen in my reflection, and Ames said to me, "Come with me." So she took me onto the staircase, and all of the pictures and that people have seen through scrying, etc., or that have been seen in the building, someone has been drawing them. And the person I turned into was the old headmaster, I believe. I'm sure it's the headmaster. I may be wrong. It's in my video anyway. And she said, "Is that who you saw?" I said, "Yeah, that's him." So, for maybe half a minute, I turned into this figure. Was he there? Had I subconsciously seen this picture before? Which I hadn't really. I mean, it was on the staircase, but we went a different way into the building. Who knows? But 100% agree. Yeah. You have to explain why your equipment works. I think it's important to do that. With red lighting, yeah, that can work. I've also used strobe effect, Ali. I've used that with you, and I've used it with Mark as well, actually. Various locations where it's obviously pitch black, and then you put the strobe part of your torch on, so it's like pew, 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 like this, and it's thought that spirits can show themselves in between the flashes, and when the flash comes back on, they're there, sort of thing. So that's another technique that we've tried. But red light can work. Isn't red light supposed to be like the spirit light that is more favourable to spirits? I don't know. We have investigated Neil's place 4 times before he expanded it. Yes, the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre. I don't know how long that's going to be there for, so go there and check it out. You're welcome, Neil. But yeah, there's so many different techniques you can do, different variations of the same thing. One thing I don't like is the torch trick. I call it a trick because it is. So you get the twisty torches when people twist them to basically off, and then they put them somewhere and say, "Spirit, if you answer my question, light up the torch." Now, lots of American YouTubers use this technique. I call them YouTubers. They're not paranormal people. They're YouTubers doing paranormal. I absolutely hate that, because what it does, the internal thing inside will heat up, and then when it heats up, it expands, and then it touches the connection, which the light comes on, and then it will cool down and turn off, and then it will heat up again and turn on. And it's like, that's all it is. It's not a spirit playing with your torch. It's not holding it and twisting it, which I hate that. But that's very basic when you first start investigating. I actually did use that technique. I remember in Drakelow Tunnels once. Yeah, I did some silly things. That's crazy. He said it was definitely him, but like he was looking at himself in the future as an old man. Yeah, exactly. Your face can change. It's amazing how scrying works. I don't know how it works. I don't know why it works. Now, there's people that watching this podcast that probably know better than me, so I won't go into detail because I don't know. Yes, used with trance mediumship and physical mediumship sittings. Wow. Trance mediumship, isn't that a bit dangerous? Neil was scrying in a freeway mirror. Nothing happened, but he got 21 years bad luck. Did he break it when he looked at it? Is that what you're saying? Fuck you now. John, you're terrible, man. What about blacklight? Would that work? I've actually done scrying with blacklight. I think if you get the lighting right, so you can see enough on the... I've actually got a black mirror somewhere. It's only a small one. The theory is that you put candles around it, and that gives you enough reflection, enough light for you to actually see yourself in the black mirror, and your face should, or it could change. I mean, whether that's a spirit coming through, I don't know enough about it, like I've said, to actually give you an answer definitively anyway. But it's just another technique to use. People always say the best piece of equipment is yourself. Some people go into locations year after year. They use themselves, never get anything. Now, is that because they're closed-minded? I don't know. Not if you know what you're doing and developed within that type of spirit communication. Yeah, that's fine, yeah. Obviously, with trance mediumship, you don't just read a book and do it. You know, you have to be taught properly. And I believe you have been, Ali, haven't you? You've got your circles, etc., of where you learn, where you're taught how to do things. So, but yeah, yeah. Going back to the equipment, like I said before, there's debunkers on YouTube that go through people's videos and they debunk why equipment works, etc. Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think, oh, they shouldn't be looking through my video? You know, what I put in my video is what's in my video. Or do you think, okay, maybe they've done their research, they know how this equipment works better than I do. Fair play. If they're telling me why the equipment's going off, it's not a ghost, it's because, like I've said, I don't know, a taxi outside can set off a REM pod. I don't know. Is a spirit box just radio bleed? Is it impossible for a spirit to say a word in the white noise? Who knows? We don't know this because we don't know what spirit is. Me personally, I like to think that spirits can use a spirit box because I like a spirit box, and I've had some amazing responses on spirit boxes before, answer to questions, etc. But I'm not going to say it's 100% spirit because I don't know. You know, we had a really nice lady debunker cover one of our episodes, and I took it as a compliment. Yes, there are a few that pick up on certain channels' videos, and they go through them and they comment on them or they react to them, as the term is. What's going on, what's happening, what evidence they're getting, what the evidence could be caused by, etc. And I think as long as they're not rude about it and they're giving their opinion, I don't see that as a problem. I think everybody's videos and evidence should be open to discussion. If I capture something like that hang yourself EVP, I'll happily send the video footage to somebody. That's fine. I've got nothing to hide, and I think that's how it should be. You know, I don't think it should be a problem to share your evidence and to get, obviously, if you get silly people that are coming through just abusing you and talking to you like shit, then yeah, you know, jog on. But if they're just given their opinion, you know, constructive criticism is the right term. I can't see it being a problem, really. You know, bring it on. That's what we need. We need to create a community that is open to helping, to discussing what evidence you get. It's not a competition, but unfortunately, some people think it is a competition. But yeah. So, guys, is there any other questions or anything else you want to say before we wrap this episode up? There we go. I think it's good for the paranormal if delivered respectfully. Exactly. except that there is a valid point. Let's lift people upwards, not downwards. That's the problem. A lot of people want to bring you down, want to, you know, say your evidence is shit, say your locations, your cameras are rubbish, you don't know how to use your equipment, you know, you're not really a medium and all that crap. Well, you know, each to their own. Yes, anyone going to Parameter Sketchy Grange in Hinckley? That's in May, is it, this year? Stay hydrated, people. I went last year, not to that one, but that's called jealousy. It is, mate, it is. But I was trying to be diplomatic as a host of the show. I can't just abuse people as much as I'd like to sometimes. Right beside where we live. Okay, fair play. Too much drama, in my opinion. They're very biased towards not believing in the paranormal too. I have actually thought that on a few episodes that I've seen. Very quick to say, "Oh, that's not paranormal." But you see, I've been using equipment for a long time. I've been doing this a long time. There are people that are more experienced than me, that know more than me, which is, you know, fair play to them. But from watching videos that debunkers have been going through, and then knowing the sort of evidence they're getting, I've had similar in a similar sort of location. Not the same location, but similar type of location. And I couldn't figure out why I was getting the answers. But, you know, I do believe you've been a topic of discussion in the past. I believe spotted ghosts. We are considering showing face at the Parameet. Where are you going next on your hunt, Miki? I am off to Bucks Museum on Friday this week, actually, with Sir Mark Williams in the building. We are off. That's where we actually filmed the Janet video last week. And we're actually there for a ghost hunt this time. Very, very good location. Yeah, so check it out. Bucks Museum in Aylesbury, I believe. Remember, it's all opinions. It is all about opinion. That's what it is. Like, no one's an expert. No one knows a definitive answer. Is the paranormal real? My spelling is awful, I know. Did you put onions or opinions? Yes. That's the Parameet. Exactly. Yeah, Mark. Parameet. I think so. You boys are going. That should be a good day, actually. Or weekend. Have to go on the stairs. Have to go to the stairs. Yeah. It's all about onions, Ali. It's all about onions, not opinions. Onions. I feel like debunkers have too much of an agenda, whereas believers like yourself just want to find out the truth. I wouldn't say I want the truth. I just want to know what happens. I'm not there 100% believer. I'm not there 100% skeptic. But yes, I do feel sometimes the videos of debunkers, they're already on the side of everything is fake, everything is not real. And for me, that's not good. That's not a good way. It can't be too much one way or the other. This time only because of the footsteps. Oh yes, the footsteps above the basement that we were in. Yeah, that was weird. There's no one in the building and we were all in the basement. There's only 3 of us. Later, and if you're out this weekend, don't have any spirits, then do what we do and drink them instead. See you later, man. Thank you so much for joining this evening. Cheers. I'll speak to you in a bit, boys. I used to be up for discussion with certain people, but then I watched the video where someone was just blatantly lied about one of my apps, so I just gave up after that. I suppose you know your truth, and as long as you're 100% truthful with your own self, then whatever anyone else says, you know, it's just what they say, really. You know, it's like if I made something and I knew all the ins and outs. I knew how it worked, why it worked, what caused certain, bits of evidence. Someone would say, "Oh, that's a load of rubbish. That done this because of this reason." I'd be pissed, to be fair, because it's like you don't know what I've made, But people will always be one way or the other, unfortunately. Well, my opinions make some people cry like onions. Haha, some people just get triggered easily. Yeah, they do. Hello, Jim. Welcome. Ruben, your statement presupposes that none of the debunkers are aware of the truth. I don't think he was meaning that. Let's have a look. I feel like debunkers are too much agenda, whereas believers, I said. I do agree that sometimes the debunkers go into a particular episode and they have like an idea already that it's all going to be a load of shit, to be fair. I suppose it depends who they're looking at. I have seen videos where debunkers have come out and said, yeah, that's a good bit of evidence. So I don't think it's all like that. Everyone is entitled to their opinions, but they said they looked at the code and they didn't need a decompiler to understand it, and it had illegal code in it. Oh, I don't know. What's a decompiler? See, I don't even know what that means. So, for me, I couldn't say one way or the other because I don't know enough. Like I've said, you have to know everything about the equipment you're using to know the false positives, etc. But yeah, it's like Ali said, as long as you're respectful in your criticism, constructive criticism though, not just blatantly, oh, that's a load of shit, that's fake, or no, this is real, this is really a ghost talking to me on my REM pod. It's there needs to be a fine line, I think, between respect how you speak to people and the I don't know, it's difficult, but we're not all the same. Some people are very aggressive in videos, some people are very placid. Opinions, who knows. Plenty of room for everyone in the paranormal. I say people just need to remain respectful and get to know people before talking crap about them. Exactly, yeah, I do believe that. No one should be setting out to talk bad about people, But then, if you've been proved to be faking evidence, is anybody ever going to believe you if you capture real evidence the next time? Probably not. So you've sort of ruined your own reputation. But, like I said, I quite happily give my videos to people to watch. Know their story, not just their name. Exactly. But yeah. Yes, guys. I think we're going to wrap it there. Thank you so much for joining this evening. We've had an awesome chat. Thank you so much for everyone that's got involved, giving their opinion. It's really good. What's this? No need to fake anything. We only just fooling ourselves. Exactly. Unless you're in it for the views, which a lot of people are, unfortunately. Please, people need to understand that paranormal is not owned by anyone, so you can just do what you want, really. Yeah, that is true. No one is an expert unless you've died and come back, I think. He was there at the ancient Ramin when the door unlatched itself and came open. I just don't know how anyone can debunk that door unlatching itself. Yes, that was amazing. We'd been in the den room at the top of the stairs at the ancient Ramin. There was four of us in there and no one else in the building. The latch was down. We'd been in there about 20 minutes asking out, etc. Nothing really was happening. We started taking the piss out of each other, and suddenly you heard the latch lift. It's one of those old metal latches on the wooden door. You heard it lift up, and then the door opened, And we actually got the CCTV of Caroline, John's daughter, who owns the Ram now. We got CCTV of inside and outside of the room, and there's no one there. And it's not like we'd just gone in there and the latch wasn't on properly and it just fell open, because you could understand that. But it had been at least 20 minutes. And then suddenly you heard it lift up and open. I mean, I can't explain that. Don't know how that happened. For me, that was paranormal. I'd like to be told otherwise and explained otherwise, because there was no wind up there. I mean, I know that the windows aren't the best in the Ram, but there's no way you're gonna have a gale force wind blow through and open that door. But yeah. See you later. Next week we have Wayne Seedon on the show, Mr. Spookanori himself. 7:30 Tuesday. Make sure you're there. Been a great live, dude. Cheers, Ali. Great people on. Yeah, we've had a good chat. Very, very much enjoyed it. Thanks, Miki. Great one again, mate. See you on Friday. See you later, sir. Keep building them live shows. Keep joining them then. Otherwise, I just talk to myself. Is this footage on your channel, Miki? I can send it to you. I have the CCTV footage of this. The Ram door open, I take it. That's what you mean. Yes, I can send you that. Going to be editing until 10 PM now. All right, Ali. Well done, mate. I expect to see your video very soon. But yes, guys, as I said, thank you so much for joining me this evening. We've had an awesome chat. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're trying to grow this channel. We have great guests every week. It's not only me talking to myself and you lovely people. We do have guests on as well. Yes, thanks. Okay, mate, I'll send you it in a bit. Yes, mate, I forgot what I was talking about now. Follow the Instagram page, and we'll see you next week. Great speaking to you, Miki, as always. Thanks for giving me something to watch while my food's here. Yay! I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for your comments and your opinions, everybody. You're awesome. Let me know, people that are watching this on catch up, let me know all about the equipment in the comments. If you agree with us, what equipment you use, etc. I'd love to know and find out if we're on the same page. But you better join the premiere. I will do, but you need to tell me when it is. But yes. So guys, see you next week. See you later. Thank you so much.